Today we will learn how to multiply fractions and whole numbers. Let's start with our fraction, 2/3, and multiply it by our whole number, 6. So when we multiply fractions and whole numbers, we first start by looking at the numerator of the fraction and multiplying it by the whole number. So in this case, it's 2 times 6. Don't forget the fraction bar, and our denominator remains the same at 3. So let's multiply. 2 times 6 is 12, and our denominator is 3. So we multiplied our fraction 2/3 times our whole number 6, and our answer is 12/3. Let's look at our answer. Do you notice how the numerator in this fraction is bigger or greater than the denominator? 12 is greater than 3. This is called an improper fraction or a fraction greater than 1. So when we get this answer, we want to make sure that we want to change our fraction greater than 1 into a mixed number so we can see our wholes. The way we can do that is by dividing. The fraction bar is equal to division. So let's divide 12 by 3. Can 3 go into 1? No. So let's move on to the next place value. Can 3 go into 12? Yes. 3 times 1 is 3. We can go a little bit further. 3 times 2 is 6. We can go a little further. 3 times 3 is 9. We can go a little further. 3 times 4 is 12. Perfect. So I had to multiply 3 by 4 to get 12. So 3 times 4 is 12, and I have no remainder. So my final answer is 4. So 2/3 times 6 is 4. Let's try another example. Here's our whole number, 600, and we will multiply it by our fraction, 3/5. Remember, when we multiply a fraction by a whole number, we start by multiplying the numerator by the whole number. So 600 times 3. And the denominator remains the same at 5. So we have to do 600 times 3. Remember, we can use the zero rule to multiply bigger numbers with zeros. So 6 times 3 is 18, and there are 2 zeros. 1, 2, 3, comma. So 600 times 3 is 1,800. And our denominator is 5. So we got as our answer the fraction 1,800 fifths. Do you notice how, again, this is an improper fraction or a fraction greater than 1 because the numerator is so big? The numerator is so much bigger than the denominator. So what we have to do is, again, we have to divide. So we will divide 1,800 by 5. So 5 does not go into 1, so we'll go to the next place value. 5 can go into 18. So 5 times 1 is 5. So let's keep going. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. Very close, but let's just try 5 times 4. So 5 times 4 went over, and it's 20, so I'll have to stick to 5 times 3, which is 15. So I had to multiply 5 by 3 to get 15. 8 minus 5 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0, so I'll leave it at that. And we bring down the 0. So 5 times something is equal to 30. I know this basic fact in my mind. 5 times 6 equals 30. So I will write 6 here. 5 times 6 is 30. 30 minus 30 is 0. But I still have that extra 0 in the ones place, so I will just stick it here. So my answer is 360. So 600 times 3/5 is 360. Now let's try a word problem together. Julie has 10 yards of ribbon. She divides the ribbon into 3 equal pieces and uses 2 of the pieces on gifts. How much ribbon does she use? So in this problem, we learned that Julie has 10 yards of ribbon. So our whole number is 10. And we're going to multiply that by a fraction. Let's see, she divides the 10 yards of ribbon into 3 equal pieces and uses 2 of the pieces on gifts. If you think about it as a fraction, there are 3 pieces that she separates the 10 yards of ribbon into, and she uses 2 of the pieces. 2 pieces that she uses, 3 pieces in total. As we talked about before, when we're multiplying whole numbers and fractions together, first we look at the numerator of the fraction, which in this case is 2, and we multiply it by the whole number, which in this case is 10. So we will do 10 times 2 first, over 3, the denominator, which stays the same. So let's multiply. 10 times 2 is 20, and the denominator remains the same at 3. So now we have 20 thirds. Again, we have an improper fraction, or a fraction greater than 1, because the numerator, the 20, is bigger or greater than the denominator, which is 3. So we must divide. Let's change this fraction greater than 1 into a mixed number. We will divide 20 by 3. Does 3 go into 2? No, 2 is too small. So let's go to the next place value. Does 3 go into 20? Yes, 20 is big enough. So let's make a list of multiplication facts. 3 times 1 is 3. I can go much further than that to reach something exactly 20 or less. Let's try 3 times 5, which is a fact I have in my memory. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 is close to 20, but I think I can try going a little bit further. So let's try 3 times 6, 18. Wow, even closer to 20, but let's try one more. 3 times 7 is 21. Uh-oh, I went too far. 21 is after 20, so I cannot use this multiplication fact. So I will stick to 3 times 6 is 18. So 3 times 6 is 18. So because 0 is smaller than 8, I can't do 0 minus 8. So we have to use a strategy, add 10, 1 less. So add 10, 1 less. So 10 minus 8 is 2. 1 minus 1 is 0, so I don't have to write that. Now there's nothing else to bring down, so I do have a remainder. How do I write a mixed number if I have a remainder? This is how. First, I'm going to look at my quotient, which is the answer to my division problem, which was 6. So my 6 is going to be my whole number. And now I want to find out what my numerator is, my numerator of my fraction. That's going to be my remainder. My remainder will be my numerator. Last but not least, I want to find my denominator. I look to my divisor to find my denominator. So my denominator is 3. So my final answer is 6 2/3. But remember, before just saying 6 2/3 is my answer, we need to write the units. Because we're talking about a word problem here. They're asking of us about how much of something. So if I look at my problem, it says how much ribbon, yards of ribbon. So I need to write that. So I will write yards of ribbon. So my final answer to 10 times 2/3 is 6 2/3 yards of ribbon.